The students at Wisconsin has been so amazing and so humbling because my work is being included in the syllabus among some of the greatest writers in the world. But it's like the students, they connect with my work more, and I'm just like, I'm a little old humble me, you know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's just powerful because they really get it. The assignments I've read from them have been so amazing. Like, they're not just glossing over, they really getting into the metaphors and the similes and the storylines and the characters. And, I mean, it's just really amazing.
I did see one of the reviews that a student here at Platteville who read your books, and they said they enjoyed it just for that reason. There was a lot of similes, and they saw a lot of connections that you made to slaves, like you felt similar to your past.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's a really good like storytelling that I think allows students to really appreciate previous, not only what's going on now, but what has happened historically in the past and in culture.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's important that we stay connected to the past, but not in a way that stirs up animosity or attention, but in a way that promotes healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, you know, in America, for our society to be as diverse as it is, we can be so closed-minded when it comes to having real serious discussions about issues that affect and impact all of us, you know what I'm saying? So when I write, I do definitely tie some of my writing in to the culture. Like the piece that you're speaking of, that's actually not from a book. That's from an essay that I wrote called 23 and 1 about the 4.5 years I spent in solitary confinement and what that experience was like. And if you study history and you study what the plantation was like, and then you study the prison industrial complex, you'll see that there are parallels. And so there are basically white slaves today in America, Mexican, Arabic, black, because if you're in prison, you have been stripped of your constitutional rights,
Right.
which means that you can be subject to involuntary servitude, and by definition, that's what slavery is. So it doesn't matter, make a difference what your color is. If you get incarcerated, you will become a modern-day slave. So it's important for you to understand the history of slavery and servitude throughout the world. You know, and it's not a bad thing to have these discussions because, you know, the past is what it is. It's the past. But it's an important part of our present as well as our future. And so, you know, just writing about it, making the parallels and the connections in ways that other people can see what's going on today, because the prison industrial complex is very real, you know, and you know, we have upwards of 2 million people incarcerated, and that's the most in the world, you know what I'm saying? And so that says a lot about the culture in America and things that we should be looking at and talking about.
Now, the penile system, there's so much controversy over it, saying it doesn't work, it does work. From your standpoint, you did a complete 180, and you are a role model for a lot of people, not only young people, but also older people as well. So how do you feel about the system?
I think the system sucks. I mean, honestly, it sucks. But let me say this. And what I mean by that is there are very limited resources, and the thing that compels people to turn their lives around are the things that we're denied the most. Like, it's very hard for guys to get books now because they've come up with all these ridiculous restrictions on what you can read and what way you can get them. And the brothers and that I've been around that I know who have changed their lives and who are actually out here doing something for the community and making a difference in the world are guys who basically learned on their own and taught each other. Like the Yusuf Shakur, who will be coming out there with me. He's a great friend of mine. We've been knowing each other for probably 18 years now. You know, we did, you know, the early part of our incarceration together. And basically what we did is we demanded excellence from each other. You know, like I encouraged him to write. He encouraged me to read. And we would exchange books. We would smuggle books to work, which was like, you know, smuggling contraband. You know, so instead of smuggling drugs and spud juice and knives, you know, we would smuggle books and take the risk of going to the hole of losing our jobs. But we wanted to learn and we wanted to make a difference. And we did this, like, while being basically punished by the administration for wanting to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the thing. Like when guys really want to turn their lives around, they meet with so much resistance in there. And, because the officers look at you differently. Like you're not like the rest of the inmates who just go along and laugh and play and joke their whole life away. And so they try to discourage that. And so you really have to fight to make a difference in your life. And so the system just sucks. It's warehousing. And I'm not saying that, it isn't a necessary evil in our society, but I think that's more reactionary, Like if you deal with the root causes that gives birth to crime, then we would never have to worry about having a prison system, So, but the system really does suck.
Now, you were able to beat statistics and stereotypes in the system while you were incarcerated, which was hard. But once you got out, how was it trying to run this publishing company? How hard was it to beat people's stereotypes of you since you were incarcerated?
It's been interesting. It's been very interesting. My transition has been very interesting. And what I want people to really take from that is this. Is how you think of yourself and how you project yourself to others is going to dictate what they think of you and how they respond to you. Like, I've had the most amazing 8 months since I've been home. I've been embraced by the community on every level. I tell people my story out the gate. I don't hide the fact that I was in prison or what I was in prison for. I'm very candid. I'm very honest about it. And I think people would appreciate the realness and the authenticity, and they can relate to the fact that, hey, we all go through things in our youth. Some of us make poor decisions. Some of us make tragic decisions. But at the end of the day, it's what you do when you realize that you are responsible for those decisions and that you have to be accountable. And anybody can respect that. Like, once you done something, made a poor decision, it's like, what do you do to turn it around? And what extent and how hard are you willing to go in order to overcome that obstacle? And so, I've been fully embraced by the community, but that doesn't take away from the difficulty of transitioning after nearly 2 decades in prison. I mean, I came out to a very different world: computer technology, phone technology, the pace of everyday life. I mean, it's sometimes it is overwhelming. And it's funny because I get overwhelmed by like the simplest stuff, whereas the complex stuff I'm pretty much good at, but like simple stuff like going and try to figure out which cereal to pick out, man, my blood pressure goes up. You know what I'm saying? So,
have you tried to operate an iPhone yet?
Yeah, actually, I was at the Apple store not too long ago because I was going to pick out me a different laptop, and I was kind of checking it out. So I'm like, yeah, I want to get one of them. I got a BlackBerry right now, but I plan on switching. I'm thinking about maybe getting an Evo, though.
Yeah, I'm just not even good at that technology either. I don't know why. I just like the simple old-fashioned. I would use a typewriter if I could.
Right, yeah.
Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your works, like Crack Volume 1?